Hello, and welcome to the first video from my channel, Statcyclopedia, dedicated to helping students succeed in some of their math-related courses. Some of the main goals of the channel will be covering multiple branches of mathematics, including Algebra 1, Algebra 2, but the main focus will be on statistics. And my goal is to get through the entire AP Statistics curriculum, which hopefully will help students in their courses. But overall, we just want to have fun with statistics and understanding it. So without further ado, in this lesson, we'll be covering the three most common averages in statistics. The mean, median, and the mode, plus the measure of spread, which is the range. So in calculating these, we'll need a data set. We'll use the numbers 2, 5, 7, 2, 3, and 14. We're going to save the median for later because it's a little more complicated. Let's go over some definitions here. We have the mean. And mean is just an average, which is denoted by the addition of all the data points divided by the total number of data points. And as indicated by the word average, this is a measure of center. Sorry about that. Okay. Another way to write the mean, a fancier way, would be sigma x divided by n. Sigma just means the addition of all the points x in the data set divided by n, which is the total number of points in the data set. So let's do a quick calculation here. We have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 14. That gets us, I believe, 35. And let's count up the number of data points here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what we have to do here to get the mean is to divide the sum of the numbers we have by the total number of points are, which is 7. And here we get the mean of 5. Great. So now let's go forward to the range. Okay, so here we have the range. Range, in my honest opinion, is slightly easier to calculate than the mean. It's simply the difference between the largest and the smallest data point. Largest and smallest data point. So let's use the previous set of numbers that we had. We had 2, 5, 2, 7, 2, 3, and 14. Okay, so in solving for the range, first we're going to have to, of course, identify the largest and smallest data points. Of course, this is not too difficult. Right here, 14 is clearly the largest data point. And if I'm not mistaken, 2, either one of these will work. That is going to be the smallest data point. So simply to calculate the range, we need to take difference between these two. So we have 14 right here, minus 2 right here, and that gets us the range of 12. So now let's move forward to the mode, which is perhaps the easiest of the three that we've so far gone through. So let's talk about the mode. As mentioned, I believe this is the most easiest to calculate. The mode of a data set is simply the number that appears the most. Number that appears the most, of course, in a data set. Okay, again, we're going to use the previous data set. 2, 5, 2, 7, 2, 3, and 14. It's interesting. We don't actually need to do any calculations. We simply have to be able to count. How many times does 2 appear? Number 2. We have 1, 2, and 3. So 3 times. Next, let's look at the number 3. Only appears 1 time over here. I'm going to mark that right there. Let's look at the numbers, the rest of the numbers here. We have numbers 5, 7, and 14. 5, once again, only appears here once. 7, again, only once. And finally, let's use purple here. 14 only appears once. Oops. Sorry about that. Appears once. So, clearly, the number 2 appears the most. So that's going to be our mode. Simple. So now we are going to try another example using a different data set. Data set we are going to use for this problem is going to be 5, 3, 7, 7, 4, 9, and finally 7. I'm going to ask you to pause the video right now and try to find the mean, range, and mode. Okay, I presume you have all paused the video. So now let's tackle this problem together. Mean, again, we have to find the sum of all the numbers in the data set and divide it by how many numbers there are. Let's do some quick calculations here. 5 plus 3 plus 7, 7, 4 plus 9. Added together, we get 42. And let's count the number of numbers inside this data set. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we have to divide this sum that we previously gotten by the number 7. 42 divided by 7 is equal to 6. Therefore, our mean is going to be 6. Let's move on to the range. A little bit easier to calculate. Again, we just have to look for the largest number. We have it 9. And the smallest number, here we have it 3. And subtract these together. So we have the range is going to be equal to 9 minus 3, which is equal to 6. Again, that is going to be our range. And finally, as I mentioned, the most easiest of all, we're going to look for the mode. Let's look at this data set once again. Which number here appears the most? Well, 5 only appears once. 3 only appears once. 7 here appears 1, 2, 3 times. 4 appears once again, and 9 only appears once. So therefore, it's very clear that our mode here is going to be 7. Okay, finally, we have the median, which is probably the most tricky one to deal with. Median is another measure of center, much like the previous mean we discussed. However, it is not calculated per se, and I'll explain what that means later. The median is just the number that separates the data where 50% of the value in the set are above it, 50% of the values in the set are below it. Let me just draw a visual right here. Let's say this bar represents data, each mini bar here represents the data. The median is going to be the point, the data point over here, in which 50% of the points up here are going to be greater than it. 50% of the points under it are going to be less than it. It's a nice visual over there. And I guess to put it in more simple terms, we can think of it as the middle value. Okay, so let's look at an example here. I'm going to use this data set. 4, 5, 6, 2, and 9. Okay, so my biggest tip when solving for the median in any problem is to rearrange the set. Ooh, misspelled it there. Rearrange the set. So it goes from smallest to highest, sort of in this order. So let's rearrange the set here. Of course, you have smallest is 2, next is 4, 5, 6, and 9. And from here, the strategy becomes simple. You have to cross out the highest and lowest values until you are left with only one number. And whatever that number is, that's going to be the median. So use blue here, cross out the highest and lowest values in this case, that's going to be 2 and 9. And now we again cross out the next highest and lowest values, 4 and 6. And we are left with one value here, 5. And that is going to be our median as noted by the definition. Simple, right? Let's try another one. Okay, so the next data set that we're going to use is going to be 9, 12, 5, 6, 4, and 20. Again, we have to follow my tip here, rearrange the numbers from lowest to highest. So let's go here. The rearranged set is going to be 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, and 20. And from here, we have, let's cross out the numbers from highest to lowest. That's the second tip. 4 and 20 cross out. Next highest, 5 and 12. Well, now we run into a problem here because there's 2 numbers left here. Problem is we can't cross out both or else we're left with no numbers. And so in this special case, in a median problem, we'd have to take an average of these 2 numbers. Or, as we've just learned about, find the mean. Okay, let's quickly do this. Simply, we just have to find the addition of the 2 numbers, which equals 15 divided by 1, 2. There's 2 numbers here. 15 divided by 2, that gets us 7.5. So 7.5 is going to be the median for this data set we have up here. Well, I hope you learned the basics on finding the mean, median, mode, and range of a data set. Be on the lookout for more videos, and thanks for watching.